Hi Papercrafters, welcome to another Design with Joe video. I'm Joanne Rogers, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Central Alberta, Canada, and I've been designing with you in mind since 1999. Today's video is an edited version of a live recording. Enjoy! So today I'm doing Case the Cattie, and for those of you who don't know, that means copy and share everything. So what we do as paper crafters, and even, we don't have to be paper crafters. We can be jewelry designers. We can make, we can knit, and we just love what we see out there for different ideas. And it's our chance to maybe copy it a little bit and make it our own. So what I do is I take a current Stampin' Up! Catalog, and I look through it and I pick out one, although I would love to have you pick one out too. You can ask for me to make one in particular for you, or to break it down and show you how to make it. So you certainly let me know if there's something that you'd like me to make. You can email me, is probably the best. It's joe@designwithjoe.ca. And so we've made a few, I think this is number 8 so far of our Case the Cattie, and you can go back and check either here, you can look in the video section here, or I do edit them and post them up in YouTube too. And so you can see the cards up close in YouTube, and so all you have to do is go to my YouTube channel, and it's just, if you go look for Design with Joe, you can see all of the 6 that we've done so far. And I don't just show you one card. I show you how to make a card, but then I usually have at least 2 samples. Today I have more than that, at least to give you some different ideas about how to use your stamps differently, or how to use your dies, or maybe how to add a ribbon, a little piece of ribbon or something like that. So be sure to catch those, because it gives you a bunch of different ideas. I do like to give my stuff away, and I'm doing a lot of giveaways right now, especially over on with my email newsletter. So the whole month of July, each week I'm giving away 12 handmade cards, but you need to be on my newsletter to do that. So if you would like to do that and you're not yet on my newsletter, and I send out weekly, twice weekly actually, I send out a tip and trick or a Q&A on a Friday, and then some other information for you. So anything that's going on with Stampin' Up! Or anything that's going on with me, if I have a new class available, but always full of tips and tricks. So I share those only with my email subscribers. It's exclusive stuff, and so you can go and sign up at www.designwithjoe.ca. And I would love to have you join in, and you get a free gift when you do join in. This was the page out of the catalog, so it's page 77, that I'm going to make one of the designs here. And I had a bunch of different people making guesses on which one it was going to be. And I'm not going to tell you. You're going to figure it out really darn quick. But I'm going to just start creating. So we'll come back to that in just a moment. So I'm going to be using pansy petals. So for those of you who follow different Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, you often see that we present a piece of paper like this that shows you all the designs in that paper package. So rather than having my 12 by 12 sheets of paper here, some which are all cut up already, this just gives you an idea. So it shows the front. I do mine in half on a diagonal so that you can see the front and the back. And so this is, for instance, it's not really front and back. You can see the 2 sides of the paper. Okay, so there are 12 different designs on every one of these pieces of paper. And which one I'm going to use today, I'm going to use this one mainly, and then I'm going to use this one as well, because I thought it really coordinated well. I could have gone with this one, but I'm using that guy and that guy. Okay, and what these pieces also tell you, also show you, well, it tells you up here, but it shows you what all of the different colors of the Stampin' Up! Colors are coordinated to go with this whole pack of paper. So it's a great way for you to pick papers, designer papers, to see if you have these colors in your stash. And if you do, then just get these and you've got perfect coordination. The card that I'm doing is a really quick one. I'm going to do start to finish for you, and it's using a note card. So the note cards that we have come in a pack of 20, and it's nice thick. This one is basic white, and so the basic white, and it comes with a little score line, and it's really the score lines, I have to say, used to be a little bit darker so that you can see them, but these still work. But I find that you have to have your bone folder now. So take your note card, and you're going to fold it right on that score line. And so what I do is I sort of pinch the end a little bit, and then I hold it together, put it down, and I line it up, and then I take my bone folder and I just go all the way down. So hopefully that's going to make it as straight as possible. Like, see, I'm just a little bit off, so I'm just going to finalize that. So then I have my card, and it's going to fit perfectly into the little envelope that comes along with it. And these are my 2 pieces of paper. So I figured out the design, the measurements on this one seem to me to be 3/4. So I've got 3/4 this way and 4 1/4 this way. Okay, so your piece is going to fit on here, and it's not going to fit exactly in the middle and have the same amount of space all the way around, but it is going to fit in the middle, because if you look at the card, and you might have the card in front of you, there's more space on the left and the right than there is on the top and the bottom. So what they've done with that card is they've used a die that is called a border die. Well, I don't have the border die, so I want to show you how you can still make the card look extremely close or similar to the card that they have using what you might already have. And I've got four different ideas, I think, different dies that you could use. So the first one I'm going to use is the stitched rectangles. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this card here, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut it on a little bit of a diagonal, something like this. And so what I want to do is I want to pull in my dies, and I found for this size of paper, this die works well. And so this is the 3rd largest die. Now this die will also work, this guy here, the 2nd largest, and I suppose I didn't even try, but probably the largest one will. This one, you might think, well, just a minute, that isn't going to work because I'm going to cut off all my edges. Because what we want is we want the top to be a rectangle, and we want down here to be cut. So at first glance, you think, well, that's not going to work. Here's what you can do. It's just a little trick. You just take these edges that you're about to cut off, and you poke them through so that they are on the other side of the die. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to keep as much paper as I can. So I'm going to have a diagonal going here. Okay, now you can play around with that if you want. If you use something that's too small, let me just show you. If you went even 2 more down, you're gonna have a hard time getting your paper in there. Okay, so it needs to be one size. It needs to be the right size. And I found that this one is the one that tends to work the best. You can go that side if you want, or this side. Okay, so just try and make sure that your paper's outside the edge. And I think this side, not doing it right now. A lot of people have these stitched rectangle dies. So I'm going to throw that through my die cutting machine, okay, my Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and it's going to come out like this. Okay, so I've already pre-cut that. So what I've got is I've got the stitching lines coming down here. I'll hold that up so that you can see it. Okay, so I've got stitching lines here and here, but I have still got square or rectangle corners, I guess. Well, they're square corners. Okay, now you might have a little bit of the die showing. I don't know if you can see that, but to me, we're going to be using patterned paper, so you're really not going to see it that much. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to glue down this one. So and I decided that I liked this side underneath, because here's what we're going to do. Okay, so I liked having this side showing. So I'll pull in my seal, my double-sided adhesive, which now that I've gotten the hang of it, I really like. I like how sticky it is compared to the snail, and I love how it rolls. Okay, so this is going to go as much in the middle as you can get it. Okay, so in the middle. This is a super simple card, and you can make up a whack of these really quite quickly. And then I'm going to put my seal here. And I'm going to put that right over top. It's going to line up the top and the sides, and that's going to go right over top. Oops, don't get it down too quick. There we go. Okay, so it's all glued down. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to decide how we're going to do our words. And I thought, well, you know, I haven't used this stamp set as much as I would have liked to yet. And I only want words right now, but I really love this thanks. I just love how it's written. I actually like all the writing in here, but I love that thanks. So I've pulled that in. And this is artistically inked, and it goes with the, well, Expressions in Ink, I think it is the bundle. And the paper is the paper that everybody is dying for right now, that is, I think, just becoming available, just because it was on back order and not available. But this is a great set. I've used it in a few different cards, and it has a set of dies that are beautiful. So I'm using Fresh Freesia, which is the lighter sort of lavender purple, just a piece of basic white. I'm just going to do my thanks. Okay, so I'm thinking that most people here are already stampers, but if you're not, you need a few stamp pads, you need an acrylic block, and then you need your stamps, which are made of foam with rubber, or there's also a kind called photopolymer, which are clear and you can see through them. So this guy here, I'm just going to turn, well, you know what? I'm going to clean him. Let me clean him, because what I often do is I put something on top of that, like a piece of paper, and then I'm not very happy. So I keep my Simply Chamois in here. I've cut mine in half so I can pick it up and use as a small one with my Stamparatus. But then I just clean off that thanks. This is still wet. I have to moisten this maybe a couple times a week. And I know it looks just disgusting, but it actually still does clean. So I could just cut that out. I could punch it with a paper punch, but I'm going to use my tailor-made tags, and I'm going to use, I think this one will fit. Yes, that one will just fit. Okay, so I just wanted something a little bit different than just a plain square. So this guy I'm also going to run through my die cutting machine, and I have done that. There we go. So I have, 1.5 cards done by the time I actually finish. So that's going to go on there. Okay, so it's a fairly big, bold thank you. Now I could go with a piece of ribbon, which is what they have. They have like a little, let me pull in the picture, because I think you probably know now, of course, which one I'm making. So it's this guy here. Okay, so they've got it took me a long time to see it, but there's a little Y, thank you. And then there is ribbon underneath. So I think I am going to pull in a piece of ribbon, which I didn't pull in. So let me grab it here. We are going to go for Fresh Freesia, which is the same color as what we have here. So I'm just going to cut that. Use my ribbon scissors, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place that down here. Okay, now this is really soft ribbon, and it's very pretty. It almost has like a real sheen or shine to it, and I'm just going to put that down, and then I'm going to put my thanks over top. So I don't need a very big piece. You might even have a piece in your scrap bin. Now, in order to glue that down, I'm just going to take my seal, get it running a little tiny bit, place that down. I do still want to see my nice little corner down there, so I'm going to put this here. Make sure it's not extending, because I don't want my words to extend. And then I'm going to put my thanks there. And they don't have theirs coming out the side, but I think I'd like mine out the side. So I'm going to put dimensionals, so pop dots sort of on the top of this. I'm using up the outside edges. So please, please, if you have been throwing yours out, thinking that they weren't worthwhile, don't do that, because you can get a lot more life out of them by cutting them with your paper snips. Just take off the backing, and then I'm going to put this over top, right over top of the ribbon. I'm going to move it off to the side so I don't see my the end of my ribbon. Okay, so I want it up so that I can see it underneath, just like it's underlining it. I know I had it coming out the other way before, but I just want that. Now we do need to put something in just to decorate it a little bit, and I thought I didn't really like this hole here. So I'm going to just take one of the loose flower flourishes, which come in 3 of our in colors, which match perfectly with this. And I'm going to put it right there. And I think that I'm going to use a small one. And I think I'm going to pull in the pinks a little bit more. I don't want to have the, no, that's the pink. Let's see. I think the big one, I'll put the big one on, but I think it's going to be a little bit too big. Well, actually, maybe it's not. Oh, I think I'm going for the pale papaya. I don't know if that was the best decision, but I think it's a good decision. So now I pull in my mini glue dots. Okay, and my mini glue dots are just flat. They're sort of hard to see. Place this right over top of that glue dot. Really press it down hard, and it will pick up the glue dot. And it will go right over top of that hole. Okay, so there is your card, but we're not quite done because we want to do a matching envelope. So because we have this envelope, what I've also got is another piece of our paper. And this envelope is not, the flap on it is not that big. So you don't need a very big piece. And I'm just going to put my seal all the way around the outside edge. You're going to fit this corner in one of the corners, and I'm just going to fit it on this one. So I'm going to fit it right up there, right along that fold. Okay, you don't want to waste in any of this paper if you can avoid it. Place that down, and now you can cut with your paper snips. But I find for this one, I use my big, just, you know, cheap scissors that I've had around the house forever, just because it's a longer cut. So it just makes it go quicker. There's no magic, but I realize that I do need to sharpen up these scissors too, because they are feeling like they're not very sharp. So I did do a video on that not that long ago. So I think I'm going to, I'll put the video link in here for the YouTube, and then I will also let you guys, so that you can see it, okay? So then you have a nicely coordinated card and envelope. Now let me show you some of the different ones that I did, okay? So you can decide which ones you like. This was the first one that I made, okay? So this is using the Beauty of the Earth paper, and then the background, and I don't know if that was the background of that paper. Yes, it was. So the background of this paper is this color. So I liked that it was dark and solid on the bottom. And then I just have some of the square faceted gems here, and just happy birthday. And there is a tiny little bit of ribbon there. So there's one. This guy here is a little bit different. This is using the bloom where you're planted. So I am going to ask you which one is your favorite at the end. So this one, oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you. This one is also done with the stitched rectangle. This one I wanted to show you some options in case you don't have those ones at home. So this one is done with the Stitched So Sweetly. So the largest Stitched So Sweetly works fine for this one. So this You Did It is out of the Many Messages, or is it out of the Many Happenings? I'm not so sure right now. And this is a piece, and it's thick normally, of our Smoky Slate, and I've just cut it right across. So there's another one. I have another two here for you. So this one here is the designer paper that is the free stuff. It's the Hostess only. And so I had to play with this one, and I just loved these lines. And I thought those lines being diagonal like that on a diagonal cut would be sort of cool with a black background. And this one uses the Nature's Thoughts. I'm pretty sure that's what the die is. So if you have that one, that also fits really, really well. And just some of our ombre glimmer paper there. And you can see that I've made the, done the envelopes for all of them. And then the last one is just a little bit different. I've added a few more things to it. This is our Your Peach paper with the Sweet as a Peach stamp set. And this one here are the new scalloped contour dies. So that works really well too. And I think that that's the second largest of them. So this guy here, I just combined a little bit of the stamping. I cut out one of the small peaches and stuck a leaf on it. And then these I cut out as well. There's tiny little flowers in that set of dies, and those are just some champagne rhinestones on top of them. And then I colored the ribbon. Thank you everybody else for coming and watching today. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will be back again next week with another case. Again, let me know if there's a particular sample in the catalog that you're either a bit curious about or you wonder how they did that, and I'll try and figure it out for you. We aren't told exactly how things are made. We are only told what they used on it. So I would love to do that for you if there's one that you would like to know. Everybody have a wonderful day, and I will see you next week for sure. Bye-bye.